Hey guys, what is going on? This is Daaro, and I'm here to bring you guys some Katawa Shoujo, a Japanese visual novel, which pretty much all of you should know. There are a few, there's still a lot of people who haven't heard about this, but Katawa Shoujo basically means crippled girls, and it is a visual novel dating simulator. And I've heard from a lot of people how good it is. And so I thought to myself, I was like, yeah, why not decide to start it up along with another visual novel? And I really like visual novels. Not just this, basically, if you want me to play a visual novel, it has to be a really good story. And it's just gotta be about the story. It can't be anything else related about the visual novel. And I've heard from numerous reviews that Katawa Shoujo has been one of the best over the last couple of years. Even though I probably missed the hype, I've actually seen a few people start up their Katawa Shoujos recently, this in 2014. And so, we're gonna get started. So let's get going. We're going to hit start and we're going to get going. We have snow. A light breeze causes the naked branches overhead to rattle like wooden wind chimes. This is a popular treat for couples in the summer. The delicious trees provide a beautiful green canopy, far out of sight of teachers and fellow students. But now, in late winter, it feels like I'm standing under a pile of kindling. I breathe into my cupped hands and rub them together, furiously, to prevent them from numbing in this cold. Just how long am I expected to wait out here anyway? I'm sure the note said 4 o'clock p.m. And I am Hisao. Hisao is the main character of this visual novel. Ah yes, the note. Slipped between the pages of my math book while I wasn't looking. As far as cliches go, I'm more of a fan of the letter in the locker, but at least this way shows a bit of initiative. As I ponder the meaning of the note, the snowfall gradually thickens. The snowflakes silently falling from the white painted sky are the only sign of time passing in this stagnant world. Their slow descent upon the frozen forest makes it seem like time is slow to a crawl. The rustling of the dry snow underfoot startles me. Interrupting the quiet mood, someone is approaching me from behind. Hisao? Hisao, you came? A hesitating, barely audible question. However, I recognized the owner of the dainty voice instantly. I feel my heart skip a beat. It's a voice I've listened to hundreds of times, but never as more as an eavesdropper to a conversation. I turn to face the voice of my dreams, and my heart begins to race. Winter. Iwanako? I get a note telling me to wait here. It was yours? Damn it. I spent all afternoon trying to come up with a good line, and that was the result. Pathetic. Yes. I asked a friend to give you that note. I'm so glad you got it. A shy, joyous smile that makes me so tense. I couldn't even move a single muscle, even if I tried. Heart's racing, man. Heart's racing. My heart is pounding now, as if it were trying to burst out of my chest and claim this girl for itself. So, here we are, out in the cold. Once again, the wind stirs up the branches, and a cacophonous noise is music to my ears. Iwanako flinches ever so softly against the gust of wind. As it passes, she rights herself, as if supported by some new confidence. Her eyes lock with mine as she lazily twirls her long dark hair along her finger. All the while, the anxious beating of my heart grows louder. My throat is tight. I doubt I could even force a word out if I tried. You see, I wanted to know if you'd go out with me. I stand there, motionless, save for my pounding heart. I wanted to say something in reply, but my vocal cords feel like they've been stretched beyond the breaking point. Hisao? I reach up to try and massage my throat, but this only sends spikes of blinding pain along my arms. Hisao? My whole body freezes, save for my eyes, which shoot open in terror. Hisao! The beating in my chest suddenly stops, and I go weak at the knees. The world around me, the canopy of bare branches, the dull winter sky, Iwanako running towards me. All these fade to black. The last things I remember before slipping away are the sounds of Iwanako screaming for help and the incessant clatter of the branches above. Four Leaf Studios presents Katawa Shoujo. And I'm your host, Daaro DS, and we're going to play through, and this is the opening. Raita is the artist who started everything. So something happened to our brave young Hisao. It looks like he's been taken to the hospital. He might have had a heart attack. We don't know. We don't know if he had a heart attack. Oh my god, the girl who just confessed her love. Oh my god, my heart, I can't take it. Blah. So that's what I'm guessing. They're showing hospital. He might have had a heart. His heart couldn't. Oh my god, my heart can't take it. So that pretty much can be the result of that. It's been 4 months since my heart attack. There we go. My heart couldn't take it, man. Can't take the pressure. In that whole time, I can probably count the times I've left this hospital room unsupervised on one hand. 4 months is a pretty long time when you're left alone with your thoughts. So I've had plenty of time to come to terms with my situation. Arrhythmia. A strange word. A foreign, alien one. One that you don't want to be in the same room with. A rare condition. It causes the heart to act erratically and occasionally beat way too fast. It can be fatal. Apparently, I've had it for a long time. They said it was a miracle that I was able to go on so long without anything happening. Is that really a miracle? I guess it was supposed to make me feel better, more appreciative of my life. Is it real? It really didn't do anything to cheer me up. My parents didn't think. My parents, I think, were hit harder by the news than I was. They practically had to 2 hemorrhages apiece. Oh my gosh. I had already had a full day by then to just digest everything. To them, it was all fresh. They were even willing to sell our house in order to pay for a cure. Of course, there isn't a cure. Because of the late discovery of this condition, I've had to stay in the hospital to recuperate from the treatments. When I was first admitted to, it felt like if I was missed. For about a week, my room in the ward was filled with flowers, balloons, and cards. But the visitors soon dwindled, and all the get-well gifts began trickling down to nothing shortly after. I realized that the only reason I had gotten so many cards and flowers was because sending me their sympathy had been turned into a class project. Everybody hates me. Maybe some people were genuinely concerned, but I doubt it. Even in the beginning, I barely had visitors. By the end of the first month, only my parents came by on a regular basis. Iwanaka was the last to stop visiting. After 6 weeks, I never saw her again. We never had that much to talk about when she visited anyway. We didn't even touch the subject that was between us on that snowy day ever again. The hospital? It's not really a place I'd like to live in. The doctors and nurses feel so impersonal and faceless. I guess it's because they are in a hurry and they have a million other patients waiting for them. But it makes me feel uncomfortable. The first month or so, I asked the head cardiologist every time I saw him for a rough estimate of when I'd be able to leave. He never answered anything in a straightforward way, but I told him to wait, but told me to wait and see if the treatments and surgeries would work. So I idly observed the scar that those surgeries had left on my chest slowly change its appearance over time, thinking that it's some kind of omen. I still ask the head cardiologist about leaving, but my expressions are low enough now that I'm not even disappointed anymore when I don't get a reply. The way he shuffles around the answer shows that it's at least some hope. At least at some point I stopped watching TV. I don't know why. I just did. Maybe it was the wrong kind of escapism from my situation. I started reading instead. There was a small library at the hospital. Although it was more like a storeroom for books, I began working my way through it, one small stack at a time. After consuming them, I would go back for more. I found that I liked reading, and I think I even became addicted. I started feeling naked without books in my hand. But I love stories. That was my life. That's what my life was like. The days became increasingly harder to distinguish from each other, differing by the book I was reading, the weather outside. It felt like the time blurred into some kind of gooey mass I was trapped inside. Instead of moving within. A week would go by without me even really noticing it. Sometimes I'd pause in realization that I didn't even know what day of the week it was. But at other times, all the things that surrounded me would be painfully crash into my consciousness, though the barrier of nonchalance I had set up for myself. The pages of my book would start to feel sharp and burning hot, and the heaviness of my chest would become so hard to bear that I had to put my book aside and just lay down for a while, looking at the ceiling as if I was going to cry. But that happened only rarely. And I couldn't even cry. The other doctor comes in and gives me a smile. He seems excited, but not very. It's like he's trying to make an effort to be happy on my behalf. My parents are here. It's been only a few days since I last seen them. Both of them are even sort of dressed up. Is this supposed to be some kind of special occasion? It's not a party. There is a ritual the head cardiologist has. He takes his time sorting his papers, then setting them aside as if to make a point of the pointlessness of what he just did. And then he casually sits down on the edge of my bed, on the bed next to mine. He looks at me in the eyes for a moment. "Hello, Hassel. How are you doing today?" I don't answer him, but I smile a little back at him. "I believe that you can go home. Your heart is stronger now, and with some precautions, you should be fine. We have all your medications sorted out. I'll give your father the prescription." The doctor hands the sheet of paper to my dad, whose expression turns wooden as he reads it quickly. So many. I take it from his hand and take a look myself, feeling numb. How am I supposed to react? How am I supposed to react to this? The absurdingly long list of medications staring back at me from the paper seems insurmountable. They blend together in a sea of letters. Holy crap. He's right. This is insane. Side effects, adverse effects, contradictions, and dosages are listed line after line with cold precision. It's hard to read with all the letters blocking. I try to read them, but it's too futile. I can't understand any of it. Attempting to only makes me feel sicker. All this for the rest of my life. Every day? I'm afraid that's the best we can do at this point. However, new medications are always being developed, so I wouldn't be surprised to see that list fade over the years. Years? What kind of confidence booster is that? I'd have felt better if he hadn't said anything at all. Also, I've spoken with your parents, and we believe that it would be the best if you don't return to your old school. What? Please, calm down, Isao. Listen to what the doctor has to say. Calm down? The way he says it, it tells me he knew full well that I wouldn't like it. Am I going to be homeschooled? Whatever of my concern shows, it's ignored. We all understand that your education is paramount. However, I don't think that it's wise for you to be without supervision. At least until we're sure that your medication is suitable. So I've spoken with your parents about a transfer. It's a school called Yamaku Academy that specializes in dealing with the disabled students. Disabled? What? Am I? It has a 24-hour nursing staff, and it only is a few minutes away from a highly regarded general hospital. The majority of students live on the campus. Think of it as a boarding school of sorts. It's designed to give students a degree of independence while keeping help nearby. Independence? It's a school for disabled kids. Don't try to disguise that fact. If I were really that free, there wouldn't be a 24-hour nursing staff, and you wouldn't make a hospital being nearby a selling point. Of course, that's only if you want to go. But your mother and I are really able to homeschool you. We went out there and had a look a couple weeks back. I think you'd like it. Looks like I don't really have a choice. Compared to other heart problems, people with your condition usually tend to live long lives. You'll need a job one day. This is a good opportunity to continue your education. This isn't an opportunity. Don't call it an opportunity. Don't call it a goddamned opportunity. Well, you shouldn't be excited. You should be excited at the chance to go back to school. Remember, you wanted to return to your school. And well, it's not the same one. A special school. That's an insult. That's why I want to say it's a step down. It's not what you think. All the students there are pretty active in their own sort of way. It's geared towards students that can still get around and learn, but they just need a little help, in one way or another. Your father's right, and many other graduates have gone to do amazing things. A person doesn't have to be held back by their disability. One of my colleagues in another hospital is a graduate. I don't care. A person doesn't have to be held back by their disability. That's what a disability is. I really hate that something so important was decided for me. But what can I do about it? A normal life is out of the question now. It's funny. I had always thought my life was actually kind of boring, but now I miss it. I want to protest. I want to blame this lack of reaction on shock or fatigue. I could easily yell out something now, but something about how I can go back to school anyway. But no. I don't say anything. The fact is, I don't know how. It's futile. I look around the room, feeling very tired of all of this. In the hospital, the doctors, my condition, everything. I don't see anything that could make me feel any different. There really isn't a choice. I know this. But the thought of going to a disabled school, what are those even like? As much as I try to put a positive spin on this, it's very difficult. Let me try. A clean slate isn't a bad thing. That is all I can think of to get me through this. At least I can still have something. If it's a special school, it's something. It's a fresh start, and my life isn't over. It would just be a mistake to just resign myself to be thinking that. At the very least, I want to see what my new life would be like. So Hisao is going to a disabled school. Act 1. Life expectancy. The gate looked far too pompous for what it was. In fact, the gates in general seem to do that, but this one especially so. Red bricks, black wrought iron, and a gray plaster assembled into a whole that didn't even feel welcoming at all. I wondered if it looked like what a gate for a school would look like, but I couldn't really decide. Probably no. Of course, I didn't want to get stuck on thinking about the gate for too long, so I entered door with a brisk pace that felt surprisingly good. Moving forward feels good. So I walked towards the main building of Yamaku Academy. With this brisk pace, I'm alone, as my parents are taking my stuff to the dorms. There is supposed to be someone waiting for me. The grounds here are incredibly lush, filled with green. It doesn't feel like the kind of grounds a school would have, more like a park, with a clean walkway going past trees, and the smell of fresh cut grass, and all other park-like things. Words like clean and hygienic pop into my mind. It makes me shudder. I shake them off. No, not the hospital again, please, no, I don't want to go back. It's your new life now. It's your new life. You have to take it as it comes. That's what I tell myself. A few big buildings loom behind the leafy canopies, too big and too many just for a school. Everything just seems off. It's different from what I thought I knew. What I thought I knew about schools. It's uncanny. It's an uncanny valley. Even though I was told this would be my new school, in the back of my head, it doesn't feel like one. I wonder if the feeling is real, or caused by my expectations of a school for the disabled. Speaking of that, I don't see anyone else here. It's kind of eerie. It makes me wish that somebody were here, somebody here, so I could anchor myself to something tangible instead of having the feeling that I stepped into another dimension. The trees hum and the wind, trees hum with the wind, and the green hues flashing all around me catch my attention. It makes me think about hospitals again. No, I'm not going back, jeez. I mean, how they say the operating rooms are painted green because green is a common color. So why am I feeling so anxious despite all this greenery? Only after I stand in the front of this haughty main building, I surprise myself by realizing why the gate bothered me. It was the last chance I had to turn back, even if I had no life to return to. But still, after entering, there was absolutely no way I could go back anymore. No way. Feeling nervous, and with this realization set in my mind, I'd open the front door. A tall man with a bad posture notices me as I enter. We're the only people in the lobby, so it's only logical. You must be Niki? Nakai? So you are. Excellent. I'm your homeroom and science teacher. My name is Muto. Muto. Yes. Welcome. We exchange a handshake that is neither firm nor sloppy, and he looks at his watch. The head nurse asked you to bring. The head nurse asked you for a brief check-in visit, but there's no time for that now. Oh, should I go later? Yes, afternoon should probably be fine. We should get going and introduce you to the rest of the class. They're waiting already. Waiting for me? I don't really like being the center of attention, but I guess it's inevitable in a situation like this. Somehow not knowing what is waiting for me makes me feel really nervous. Thinking about this, I almost miss what the teacher is saying. Do you want to introduce yourself to the class? Of course I do. Yeah, sure. I mean, isn't that normal? Of course, but not everyone likes to be the center of attention. I'm probably one of those people, but I guess I should be the same. Wrong voice. But I guess I should be the one to give the first impression of myself. Right, but it's no problem. Let's go then. We're going to class. My heart pounded in my chest, and it keeps me thinking about my condition as I follow the teacher up the stairs. The third floor. The third floor corridor is marked as a classroom for class 3-3. Muto opens the door and enters. We're going in. Good morning, everyone. Sorry I'm late again. I hesitated for a split second at the door, freezing on the spot. Get a grip. This is a big step. I know that, but there isn't any point to worrying so much about it. At least not this soon. As I follow the teacher into the classroom, I look around partially so I won't have to meet curious gazes of my new classmates. It's pretty spacious. The ceiling is unusually high, and there's lots of space left over around and in between the desks. An entire wall taken up by the blackboards and the high old-fashioned windows make it seem larger. The students' desks are all just standard wooden desks with a shelf underneath for books and wooden chairs with metal frames, simple and efficient. I stop walking in the front of the classroom and face the other students. They all look normal, like students in any other school, but then why would they be here? They probably like me, and have something wrong with them. It's only just not immediately obvious. Then I notice that one of the girls seems to be missing the thumb of her right hand. It's a little jarring. I wouldn't want to be that person. Despite the natural tendency to listen when someone's talking to you, I tune out the teacher's speech halfway through while he introduces me to the class. I notice a flash of dark hair and see someone is looking at me. A girl with really long, straight hair that is pretty eye-catching, and she seems to be staring as I look back at her, and she covers her face with her hands as if it will make her invisible. There's one boy with a cane leaning against the lockers at the rear of the class. It's weird seeing someone so young with a cane. Another girl seems to be making some weird hand motions. Sign language? She peers at me over the rims of her glasses, then goes back to whatever she's doing. She's kinda cute. So is the cheery girl with pink hair sitting next to her. She's really hard to miss. I don't know how I didn't notice her at the moment I walked in. Please welcome our newest classmate. He claps his hands, and so does everyone else except one girl in the first row who has only one hand. I cringe a little, but I hide it by bowing in thanks for this applause I did not deserve. A collective silence tells me that I should open my mouth now. Duh. So, I'm Hisao Nakai. And after that, my hobbies are reading and soccer. I hope to get along with everyone even though I'm a new student. And after that, I'm being so boring. This is exactly like every self-introduction ever. I should say something more exciting. And I end up saying nothing. And the teacher picks up from there. Everyone seems to be satisfied even with what little I said. A few girls are whispering to each other, throwing glances at me. It could have gone worse. I listen to the teacher as he drones about getting along while letting my gaze sweep across the classroom. Everyone seems to be listening to him intently, and when he's done, they clap their hands again, which feels like a weird thing to do. The first row girl claps on this round with one hand against her other wrist that ends in a bandaged stump, which makes me feel a little bad. We're going to be doing some group work today, so that'll give you a chance to talk with everyone. Is that okay with you? Yeah, it's fine with me. That's good. You can work with Hakamichi. She's the class representative. She can explain everything you might want to know, and who else would be able to do that better, right? How could I know? The teacher passes out the day's assignments and announces that we will be working in groups of 3. It hits me that I don't know who Hakamichi is, man. Hakamichi. Slow. The teacher seems to catch my helpless expression. Alright, Hakamichi is right there. Shizune Hakamichi. As he calls out her name, the cute, bubbly looking girl with bright pink hair and gold eyes waves her hand at me. I take a seat next to her by the window. Hey, I guess you're Hakamichi, right? Nice to meet you. Ha 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 ha. What? Am I caught off guard by her laughter? What? I'm caught off guard by her laughter. What the hell are you laughing at me for? It's nice to meet you too, but... but I'm not Hakamichi. I'm Misha. This is Hakamichi Shi-chan. Giggling, Misha points to the girl next to her. The one I saw using sign language before. It looks like she's been staring at me this whole time. She nods once, nonchalantly, to show that she's acknowledging my presence, but only barely. She has short yet carefully neat brushed hair, a pair of oval-shaped glasses balanced on the tip of her dainty nose, and dark blue eyes that seemed to alternate every few seconds between analytical and slightly bored. It's nice to meet you. She immediately looks at Misha, who smiles and then makes a few gestures with her hands. Hakamichi nods and makes a few gestures of her own. I start to wonder if the teacher was messing with me, saying things like, you'll be able to talk to people, and who better explain things to you? I can see we're a little confused, right? But I understand why you think I was Shi-chan. Shi-chan is deaf, so I'm the person who translates things back and forth for her. I'm like an interpreter. She says she's nice to meet you too. You're the new student, aren't you? Well, Shi-chan, of course. Shi-chan, of course she is. If he wasn't, he wouldn't have been standing up for no reason, right? Right? He seems like a very interesting person, doesn't he? We know that there was going to be a new student, but we didn't know you would be here today. So soon. He-chan, right? He-chan. I think that's how I say it. He-chan. He-chan, or whatever. Yup, it fits, doesn't it? Did I say that out loud? It's just a surprise that I've never liked that nickname. I don't really see how. It fits. You look just like I imagined. Right. Yeah, you look just like He-chan. I wonder why everyone seems to think so. Hakamichi taps her fingers on the desk to get Misha's attention. They gesture back and forth to each other excitedly, their hands a blur. Misha seems a little overwhelmed. Haha, I'm sorry about that. Shi-chan wants you to know that she's the class rep, and if there's anything you want to know, you can feel free to ask her. Do you like the school so far? We can show you around a little if you haven't had the time to walk around and familiarize yourself with it. Misha stumbles with the hard word of it, making it stick out of her otherwise fluid translation. Thanks, that would be pretty helpful. Yeah, I kinda just came straight to class today. I'm gonna move my mic a little bit so it's facing me a little. Ha 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 ha! That's no good. You should always try to learn as much as you can about where you're going before you go there. Not just with school either. Anyways, even if it's a trip to the convenience store. Really? Shi-chan? Ha 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 ha! Learn about where you're going. I guess I didn't bother to do that, or I just didn't care enough to do so. Ugh. I didn't look forward to this, even if I committed myself to go along with it, half-assedly. But anyway, I don't say anything, and Misha signs something that ends in a shrug. What was that? It seemed like it was about me. I feel like something over in my seat. Both of them are smiling, but that shrug hit me unexpectedly deeply. You look down. Are you okay? Don't take it the wrong way, please. I hate it when people are afraid to ask questions. That's how people learn things, by asking. Asking for help is perfectly normal, as such as needing help. Stop looking like you just failed a test. Wahahaha. Alright. And another thing. You don't have to call Shi-chan something so formal like Hakamichi or class rep all the time. Just call her Shi-chan. Okay, maybe that's too casual. Maybe Shizune would be more appropriate. Yep. Shizune is fine. Okay. That'll make it a lot easier for me. I feel a bit more at ease. Both of them seem so friendly, so I feel like an idiot for being so apprehensive earlier. Especially about Shizune, who I assumed would be all business. Well, she still seems like that. Just less so, I guess. Can I pause? How do I pause? Alright, let's go. The assignment is also kind of long, so we should start now if we want to finish it before the end of class. Wah, that too. Shizune glares at the two of us impatiently. I don't need to know what sign language. I don't need sign language to understand that. Okay. I get the message. After class, we can take a walk around the grounds together. It's a nice day today, okay? The assignment was actually very challenging to get through, combining aspects of being both difficult and unnecessarily long. Still, we finished it in a few minutes earlier than anyone else in the class, despite our late start. Shizune and Misha are really capable. They're quite different, though. The class rep is as calm and professional as she looks, while Misha's a lot more playful and girlish. Not to mention a little more easily distracted. To be honest, the two of them did most of the work. I feel guilty about that. Really, Hisao? The clock tower bell rings, signaling the end of the period. Time for lunch. Without knowing what else to do, I follow Misha, who is beckoning me into the hallway and down the stairs. We descend even below the lobby where I met Muto, down to the bottom floor. Just like everything in this school, the cafeteria seems too spacious and oddly modern in contrast to this classic exterior. Its big windows open to the courtyard and towards the main gate. It's the cafeteria! Her enthusiastic statement of the obvious makes people around us stare, but Misha doesn't seem to care, so we proceed to the line. There's a rather long list of menu options, which seems great until I realize that many of them are to accommodate students who need special diets. How nice. It feels like I'm back in the hospital eating portions measured with scientific precision to meet the needs of patients. I pick something at random and follow Shizune to the table, sitting opposite of her. As I nibble differently at the food I'd rather not eat, Misha pokes me in the side to get my attention and points to Shizune. I don't understand signs, so the point escapes me. Maybe looking at a person who talks to you is proper and polite? Do you want to know something? What? About anything. We are guides, so you should ask if there's something. I wonder. Alright, what should we do? Ask about Shinoze's deafness. Okay, so now we're going to ask about Shinoze's deafness. Shinoze's deafness intrigues me. Shinoze intrigues me. and I kind of want to ask something about her. But I can't really ask about something that personal, can I? I can't come up with anything else to ask, so I just focus on my food while the girls talk between themselves. Misha and Shizune sign back and forth very animatedly, throwing sideways glances at me, but Misha refrains from translating. Maybe they're talking about secret girl stuff or something. I quickly notice the conversation in sign is not enough to fill a silence. We arrive in the classroom early, but we're not the first. Alright guys, this is going to be about it for episode number 1, part number 1 of Katawa Shoujo, and I'm getting pretty tired of reading, so I guess I'm going to say goodbye. Where's my mouse? There you are. Alright, so we're going to track up the save file. So I heard the option. I had to go to the game manual to see the key mappings because I wasn't sure of what to do, because it's not. I thought start would be it. Yeah, only A and the buttons work. So I'm gonna have to go to F4. There we go. No, that's not it. Well, let's do this though. Let's go to gamepad key map. Show image, show menu. Press the button you want to show the menu and click the mouse to click when you clear the map. Okay, so we're all good now. I'm gonna go to return. Alright, so now we're done. Alright. There we go. 44 minutes in, we're at the scene at the nursery, and daylight is playing. And we're gonna save. Thank you guys for watching episode number 1 of Katawa Shoujo. I am Daaro DS. And we're making a slow start, but it looks pretty nice so far. Create new save state. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Peace. Have a good day, guys.